What's up? It's your girl K.Honesty, and I'm about to review The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 15, Episode 2. So if you haven't seen the second episode of Season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, turn this video off. Go watch the episode and come back and watch this video. Anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. These are my thoughts and expressions and how I feel. So don't come on my page talk about some bullshit. So this is how I feel. I gotta sneeze, but it won't come out. Whatever. I'm not a public speaker, so I will tend to stutter, pause. Like I said, when I say pause, it literally means I'm pausing. Like I'm trying to take a minute before I talk again. Because I know some people, when they say pause, it means no homo. If I mean no homo, I'm just gonna say no homo. But anyway, I might tend to stutter, pause. You're going to hear me say, so, like 1,000 times maybe. I definitely be looking over here to my notes that I take throughout the show, so I will be doing that. And, yeah. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Those are two easy and free ways to, like, support me. Yeah, do that right quick. I realize I got to start doing that before my videos because a lot of people don't watch the videos all the way through. And I used to say it at the end of the video. So, yeah, just literally takes less than 3 seconds to hit like and subscribe. Okay, cool beans. I do like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. It's hard with reality shows, but I'm gonna grade this episode. I guess I give it a B+. It didn't really do too much. Some parts I was really like, okay, yeah, B+. That's what I'm gonna give it, a B+. Oh yeah, and I do have my water bottle right here. And my mouth was super dry this morning, so I'm definitely gonna be. So good. Sorry. I had to take one more swig. Whew, okay. Okay, that woke me up a little bit. Okay, so last chance. Why do I look high and I ain't even smoke yet? Literally just woke up, brushed my teeth, washed my face. And my eyes is just like, my eyes just still look like I'm high. Anyway. Okay, last chance. If you haven't seen the second episode of Season 15 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, turn this video off right now because I'm about to spoil the entire episode. Okay. Cool beans. Okay, so the first scene is the continuance of Ross's 40th birthday party. And you remember at the end of the last episode, Kenya told Sheree that Martell slid into her DMs. So Sheree was like, okay, well, how about we call Martell over here since he's here? And we making these accusations against him. So Kenya's trying to tell, then mind you, Kenya tells Sheree that the DM was 6 months prior to Sheree, and Sheree was like, okay, that's why I wanted to see the DM or whatever. You know, Candy, she's still trying to, like, ignore the subject or whatever, or try to make it seem like it's something before Sheree actually calls Martell over there. And then you get this quick little part, Candy and Courtney still low-key going at it. Tar had to come pull Candy away. So then we get to see Martell, he comes over. Sheree telling them about what they came to her with, about the women in Atlanta or whatever. And this is what I found interesting about that. Okay, so, hold on. Is this the right way? Oh, no, I was about to spark it the wrong way, wasn't I? Was I about to spark it the wrong way? I can't even tell. Nah, okay. All right, now here's what I found interesting about Martell's answer. Now, like I said, I don't be keeping up with these people and this. I mean, like, I don't be keeping up that hard like all these other bloggers and stuff be doing. They be keeping up with these castmates and stuff. I don't keep up with them that hard. I just really go off what I see on the Shade Room or on the show. So I've been seeing a little bit of stuff about Martell, so I'm kind of finding out more about the guy because, like, I don't judge. I mean, I don't judge a book by its cover. I don't know anything about the man, so I'm just going off what I'm learning about him through the show. But I did learn that he has a lot of kids by different baby mothers or something, and she was cheating or something. I can't remember everything, but This whole episode, I had no problem with Martell. I'm sorry. Kenya was the problem for me this whole episode. We're going to get into it, but... So Martell comes over, Sheree asking him about the woman in Atlanta. Oh, he's supposed to be seeing somebody in Atlanta. So what Martell says made me feel away. Because he was like, he says, what'd he say? Yeah, he said he's only with Sheree when he's in Atlanta. So the other girl would have the short end of the stick. So first of all, I'm like, what type of answer is that? And second of all, I'm like, that's the same answer. That's low-key the same answer that Sheree gave Monyetta last episode when Monyetta came to her about the girl in Atlanta. What Sheree said? She said, well, where's she at? Where's she at? Because he been with me the past 3 days, so where's she at? And then you got Martell saying the same thing, like, how? When I've been with Sheree the whole time in Atlanta, that girl must not be getting too much time. The answers kind of sounded like, what's the word? Rehearsed. Sound like they planned those answers because they sound too similar to me. But yeah, that's just how I felt. So Monyetta asked Monyetta, I said Monyetta asked Monyetta. So Monyetta asked Martell, she's like, so did the woman is non-existent? And Martell was like, well, there never, like, he basically tries to say there never was no women. Like, the stuff that they saying, just like the speculation, allegations, and all that stuff. So Sonya, she goes over there to check on Candy. And you know Candy is mad at Sonya. I said that the last episode. I said Candy, because the way when Sonya was explaining to Courtney that Courtney was doing too much, when they was arguing, she was like, you did express to me that how you felt about Candy. And Candy was looking at Sonya like, really? So I knew that shit was going to come back up. So Sonya goes to check on Candy, and Candy was like, why was Courtney doing all that with her head and this, that, and third? Sonya was like, I don't know. I just met her through Sheree. This week, Don Juan chimes in like, oh, that's why she doing all that, because she friends with Sheree. So then you get this confessional scene with Candy, and she says that she's annoyed with Sonya, of course. She says she's annoyed with Sonya because Sonya didn't tell her that Courtney had beef with her, and plus didn't tell her that Courtney was going to be at this party. So she was like, she's feeling the type of way towards Sonya. So then Sonya, she goes over there to tell Sheree, she's like, oh, your girl and Candy, they was about to fight, this, that, and the third. And, what happened after that? Oh, yeah, so Kenya and Monyetta, they go over to Candy. They're like, you about to fight, this, that, and the third. Candy telling them what happened. Kenya and Monyetta was like, well, yes, Courtney is very animated when she talks. They start imitating how she be talking and stuff with her head and like this. I was like, they is too much. Don was like, Candiana almost was about to come out. And I was like, that's Candy's alter ego? I could have swore that's not her alter ego. I was like, Candiana? Like, we could do better than that, Don Juan. Like, really called her Candiana. I was like, that's so corny. And I don't even think that's her alter ego. I could have swore Candy had like a different alter ego name that she introduced back seasons prior. I can't remember. I don't think it's that deep. I just didn't like that name. It was corny. Then here go Marlo in her confessional talking about something. I can't believe, she's like, how am I the only one that's behaving? She was like, therapy works, guys. And I was in my head like, girl, you wish you was in this drama. You mad as hell you ain't involved right now the whole time. Trying to act like you don't care and you happy that you're not involved in the mess. Girl, you is. You the one was just over there telling Courtney, oh, you should talk to Candy about that then. Like, girl, you mad you ain't in the mess. Probably trying to figure out a way to be involved in the mess. I'm pretty sure it won't be too long now then before Marlo gonna be in something. Ooh, excuse me. So that's when Sheree and Courtney, they walk over to where Kenya and Monyetta and Candy at. And Kenya, she's like, I don't think this is right. And Sheree was like, I'm just trying to figure out what happened. So then, I hope I don't got the hiccups. God damn it. Yeah, so Sheree was trying to figure out, she was like, I'm just trying to figure out what happened. And then they randomly kind of like, did they change the subject? Yeah, they randomly kind of change the subject. Well, Sheree does. She brings up the fact that she was just approached about the Martell situation. Kandi says, well, if it was you, I mean, if it was anybody, you know, they would want to know this, that, and the third. Sheree was like, that's true, but at the same time, what'd she say? She said she would want actual receipts. Like I said, so Sheree changes the subject. They don't even talk about Courtney and Kandi in this moment. Courtney and Sheree just walk up. Sheree low-key changes the subject, talks about how she was just approached about the situation with Martell. And Candy's like, well, you know, I felt like, I mean, well, you would want to know situation, da-da-da. Sheree get that, well, yeah, I want to know, but I don't want just parts of the story. She says, I want, like, actual receipts. So Sheree, I guess she has Kenya's phone in her hand, pulls up the DM, calls Martell over. She's like, you say you DM'd him, right, Kenya? So Martell walk over, he asks Kenya, he's like, those your DMs? And then in that moment, Martell didn't even say too much at the moment. He walked over, and I think Sheree asked him about the DMs or something. I don't even remember. But the only thing I remember Martell saying in that one moment was, he asked Kenya, is those your DMs? And Kenya says, in this moment, oh my gosh, Martell, you're so aggressive. I'm scared of you. And I was just like, this is Kenya doing the same thing that she do. Like, this is about her second or third husband she didn't call aggressive. And it's just like, come on, girl. Every man ain't aggressive. And I was just like she need to stop banging that word. Because at the moment, he didn't do nothing to her. At that moment, he didn't say or do anything to her. Yeah, I put it's like a pattern with her. Saying that the men are aggressive on the show. So she was like, you so aggressive, Martell. I'm scared of you. So Martell was like, well, if somebody's accusing you of something, you have the right to defend yourself. So can you get that? I'm not accusing you of anything. You kind of are. You're accusing him of sliding in your DMs and saying something that you don't know what he said. It's part accusation and part truth. I mean, he actually did slide in her DMs, but the fact of the matter is she's saying that he tried to holler, but we don't know what it said, regardless if he deleted it or not. So then Martell says, like, she probably accepted everybody's messages. And Kenya took it, like, super hard to, like, basically to say that she accepted everybody's messages because she be out here and hoeing and all that. I mean, we got what he was saying with that, but it wasn't enough to warrant what Kenya came out with next. So Martell, he pulls his phone out. He was like, oh, I am sorry. He was like, I'm sorry, I did DM you. I DM'd you. He was like 2 months ago. I mean, he was like 2 years ago, though. So Kenya was saying it was 6 months ago. Martell was saying that it was 2 years ago. He shows his DM to everybody. They show the DM on the screen. It says it was from 2020, which is 3 years now, but I'm assuming they was filming earlier this year or end of last year. I don't know. But basically 2 years ago. And the DM says, thank you for your kind words on your live. So, who knows? Because even in this moment, Kandi says in her confessional, she's like, I don't buy it. Like, he could have easily deleted the stuff. And she was like, when I went in Kenya's phone, Kenya hadn't touched the message, so he could have just easily deleted. Like, Kandi ain't buying it. Probably nobody else neither. I mean, hey, I don't know, what can you do? Ooh, I'm gonna drop the stand and my phone sitting on. Caught that jump with the quickness. But it's like, man, what can you do? He's showing his DM in this moment, and it looks like Kenya kind of messed up. I don't know. But it's also weird because, like Kandi said, Kenya would have had to accept his message and delete that message that he sent. And from what Kandi saw on Kenya's phone, Kenya had just accepted the message when she was with Monye and Candy. So, I don't know. Like, and then on Martell's end, it says, I don't know. So, whatever. Yeah, so after Candy says all that in her confessional, Martell was like, I ain't gonna hold you. I still don't feel like Martell was super wrong in anything he said. So at this moment, he was like, I don't care if I was trying to fuck you. It was 2 years ago. So why are we talking about it? And then he walks off back over to the man. So can you get the excuse me? Yeah, the excuse me? Like he said something so harsh. All he said was, I don't care if I was trying to fuck you 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. So they start yelling at him. Kenya, she started going off on him. Like, what did you say to this queen standing in front of you? And she just started going off. Telling Martell he did the same thing with his ex-wife. He gonna do it to Sheree. Calls him a cheating ass piece of shit. Calls him all types of stuff. All types of names. Martell don't even really say nothing back. So then Kenya, she going off on Sheree, talking about Martell just like Bob, her ex-husband. They show the clip of Bob when he was in the car with Sheree, and Kenya and Phaedra was there. And Bob was asking Sheree, did he ever strangle her? She was like, yeah. And he was like, Mustang did it tight enough. And Kenya was in the back saying, that's not funny. So they showed that little clip, and Kenya going off telling Sheree that Martell just like Bob. She was like, he talked to me like that now. He'll talk to you like that sooner or later. And then Sheree was defending her man in this moment. She says, why this narrative from 2 years ago, if it was something from 2 years ago? So Candy was like, well, was it that deep though? Like what Martell did? And Sheree was like, exactly. Like, then why bring it up? And she walks off. She was like, why bring it up then? And I ain't gonna hold you, like I said, my opinion is my opinion, and I'm low-key siding with Sheree. From what I'm watching on the show and what I know, because I don't know that much, I'm siding with Sheree. Because if this stuff was so, like, because they said it's 2 years ago instead of 6 months ago. 6 months, 2 years, either way, was prior to Sheree. So why even bring it up? So I did feel where Sheree was coming from. Why even bring it up? I even felt where Martell was coming from. I don't care if I was trying to fuck you 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. It was before I got with your friend. You the one bringing it up on camera, like, so who the weird one, Kenya? Kinda Kenya. But that's just how I feel. So, like I said, that's how I feel off watching the show. I ain't saying Martell's a good nigga. I don't know that much about the nigga. All that. What he said last episode about thinking that they was about to get the threesome, that was weird. But other than that, I ain't really got nothing against him right now. So everybody started to leave. Side note, Sonya comes over when Courtney and Sheree approached the ladies. She was like, outfit change to change the mood. But then she dipped. She was like, this is about my husband. I'm gone. So Sonya's been dipped out. Everybody else started to dip out. Martell and Sheree, they get in the car. And Martell was like, man, I was just offended how they lied. He was like, I just met them, and they want to, he was like, they want me to respect them. They got to give respect. He's like, just like they say they queens, I'm a king too. He's like, I meant what I said, so I'm not apologizing. I was like, I mean, in that moment, I don't blame him. In that moment, I don't blame him. I don't know that much about the nigga, like I said. But in that moment, I didn't blame him for that. It was just too much. Kenya shouldn't even bring it up. It wasn't even that deep. So we did get Drew this episode. I mean, I didn't really care that we didn't get her on the premiere. I didn't really care. So, because she wasn't on the premiere. So, we get her this episode. We get a lot of her. And it's weird. I mean, I guess they was done filming Real Housewives of Atlanta when her and Ralph went through their divorce. So, we probably won't get none of that till probably like the end of the season. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. Because from this second episode, seemed like her and Ralph good. So, like Ralph mentioned to the ladies at Ross's party that Drew had a family emergency. So they go more into depth in Drew's scene. She was in Chicago with her family. She took her boys with her, left the baby girl with Ralph. Side note, Drew's little baby girl looked just like her. I mean, she do look like Ralph too, but that's like Drew's whole face. She's so super cute. I forgot her name though. I forgot the baby name. So her and Ralph seem cool right now. So Ralph asking Drew how her trip was. She tells Ralph that like none of the people are like really interacting with her father in the nursing home that he's in. And I felt that because I used to work in a nursing home briefly. So when family would come, I would have to see how some of their elder loved ones, like sometimes they wouldn't even recognize them, or like sometimes they wouldn't be, as active. And then you have some that wouldn't even have no visitors at all. So I get where she's coming from on this. So she was just saying, like, it's so surreal to see her dad in a wheelchair. She's so used to him walking around and stuff. And then she confesses in her confessional that, I said confesses in her confessional. I mean, confesses. Is this the first time she said this on the show? I don't know. But she tells everyone about her father dealing with Alzheimer's disease. And she says it's also been taking a toll on her mom, so they just been trying to look out for her as well. I ain't even trying to be funny, but this part kind of confused me. Okay, so she says that trying to look out for her mom because her mom has to watch out for her dad. It's kind of heavy on her too. So Drew goes on to say that it's taking a toll on their whole family, and it's important that she be there. This don't bleed, that's why I'm glad I brought my scissors, so I wouldn't have to get up. Okay, cool. Okay, so she says all that in her confessional. Where am I? So then she goes on to tell Ralph that, okay, her father wasn't recognizing nobody in the nursing home, but his eyes lit up when he seen her mom. So I was just in this moment, and I'm not trying to even be funny. Okay, maybe the mom is at the nursing home every single day. But Drew said that her dad is dealing with Alzheimer's disease, so it's kind of taking a toll on her mom. So that's why they try to be there for mom. But then in the same breath, she says that her dad is actually in a nursing home. And the mom, like, he lit up when he seen the mom. So I'm saying the mom comes to visit probably like a couple of times a week. So, like, how is it really taking a toll on her if she's not even really taking care of him, like, taking care of him? But at the same time, he does have Alzheimer's, so maybe she is there every day helping out and all that, and he just don't recognize. I don't know, but it was weird the way she worded it. Because where I'm looking at it, if he's standing in a nursing home, how is the mother really taking care of him? Like, how is it taking a toll on her for real when she just coming to visit every day? I don't know, but maybe it's something that I'm missing. I don't know. So, she talks about, her mom played a video of Drew singing, and her father kind of recognized it. She said that was so, that was so emotional for her. Because she always felt a connection through her father because he was in a singing group when he was in high school. So she said she felt like she always feels like, she living her dreams through him or something like that. I mean, living his dreams through her, something like that. So I was like, oh. He was in a group called Mo Tempo. I mean, no, not him. I'm tripping. She was in a group called Mo Tempo. God damn it. I jumped the gun. I was so confident saying that, too. I was like, he was in a group called Mo Tempo. Where am I? So now Drew and Ralph, they're talking about Drew getting back into music or getting into music, apparently. She talks about how she's nervous to get into music because of every time things don't go her way, her confidence drops. I get that. I definitely get that. That's why I don't pursue music that much, because there's so many talented singers and rappers out there. So it's just like, what can you do, man? But she got the money and the influence, so she definitely could do something about her music career. I could see if she was just somebody that, like a regular, degular, smegular person, like myself. But you out here, you got influence, you got money, so yeah. So, she talks about being nervous to go back into music, and Ralph says that, so he tells her she's super confident. I mean, I get it. You're supposed to amp your wife up. He was like, I want to nurture your gift. And I was just like, what? But anyway, so Drew talks about the music in her confessional. It's always been a passion to her. She never turned it into a career. It's always been like the acting thing. Then she goes on to talk about how she was signed a couple of times and she was in a group called Mo Tempo. And the producers asked Drew if she was the Beyonce of the group. And you know, Drew ass was like, oh, most definitely. I was like, girl. So she talks about a single that she dropped called Already Know. And they play a snippet later in the episode. I haven't gone to listen to the song. But the snippet they play, I kind of fuck with it. I was like, okay, it's all right. So they played that snippet. I mean, they play like a little 2-second snippet in this scene. But later on in the episode, they play like a little longer scene. And she sings it live later in the episode. So she says that the record is produced and written by Ralph. He even on the cover of that bitch. I was like, all right, doing too much now. So the producers, they asked Drew and Ralph, like, are y'all in a good place right now, you and Ralph? I mean, the producers asked Drew, are her and Ralph in a good place right now? And I was like, I ain't lying, because you know what I've been saying online is they filed for divorce like a day apart from each other. He supposedly filed for divorce and then had to find out the next day that she had already filed for divorce the day before him. Something like that. Like, like a catch-22. I don't know if that's the right phrase. But I was like, that was funny. But I was like, yeah, ask that question. So Drew says, yeah, they in a good place right now. Better than ever. Like, she says the music has really taken their focus off their issues. So I'm just like, that means the issues haven't gone anywhere. They just been put to the back burner while y'all deal with this music. But once the music gets up and going, the issues are going to definitely resurface. But either way, she says that the music is taking their focus off the issues. Yeah, I put meaning they're not gone. In quick layman's terms, whatever you want to call it. So Drew was like, okay, what did I miss at Ross's party? She was like, I saw some stuff online. So Ralph was like, you know, I came fresh to death. And Drew asked him, did somebody hit on him? And I was just like, you asking your husband that? First you asking him like he gonna tell you the truth. But either way, I was like, you asked your husband, did somebody try to hit on you? I mean, I don't know. I mean, some women want that. Like, some women be like, okay, they hit on my man. That mean the women want him. That's just some women. And Drew is obviously one of those women. So, I just thought that was weird. So, Ralph was like, no, of course. Of course he going. I mean, yeah, whatever. So, Ralph mentions he got to meet his cousin, Courtney. And they show that little scene where Courtney and Ralph said they just found out they was cousins. And I thought that scene was so random. I still think it's random. So then they break it down. Apparently, Courtney's dad's sister is Ralph's grand aunt. That's all. I'm not even about to try to do the figure out. I'm not even about to try to figure that out. I told y'all I'd be stuttering. So I'm damn sure I ain't about to try to figure that little shit out. But apparently they're cousins. But it's seeming like, hold on, maybe I am trying to figure it out. Dad's sister. Grand aunt. Okay. Okay, so they like first cousins. They cousins on their father's side, so I get that. Okay, cool. But I was just like, okay, whatever. So then Drew get that. I heard something about Candy. What happened with Candy? I saw some stuff online about Candy. And Drew was like, Ralph was like, well, Candy got into it with my cousin. And Drew was like, not your cousin out here fighting. I thought that was funny because he was like, he was just talking about that. I found out that was my cousin. And then Candy, and then Drew was like, man, get to the good stuff. He was like, well, it was with my cousin. I thought that was funny. So now we get this scene with Candy and Sonya. They having lunch. And I already knew. I knew I was going to cough. But Jay gone, so no more coffee. So when Candy and Sonya have lunch, I already knew Candy was going to come. Candy was going to come at Sonya for the whole situation about Sonya saying she knew about Courtney's problems with Candy, and that that Sonya was, and that Courtney was going to be there. So they meet up, and they basically just talking kids, family, whatever. Apparently they got so close. Well, not even so close. Candy apparently reached out to all the ladies that have like kids or whatever during off season. Asked them if they wanted to go to Disney. They taking the kids to Disneyland, Disney World. I don't know. So they talking about that. Sonya was like, well, Ace still remembers Blaze. And so Sonya talks about Sonya was one of the ones that accepted the invite to Disney. They showed a little text that Candy sent, and Sonya accepted it, and she said her family went, they had a good time. So Candy said in her confessional that her and Sonya have been getting to know each other a little more outside of the show. So their families are getting along. They seem to be growing a somewhat bond. But Sonya's still cool with Marlo and Sheree, so we'll see how that play out. And then this whole scene just made me look at Sonya like, come on, Sonya, you gotta do better, girl. So they start talking about life. Candy talking about she's supposed to sign contracts, do taxes, all this other stuff. Sonya talks about how Ross talked about he wants to move, like he wants his own space. They show a little flash of Ross saying like they need to have their own. Sonya talks about her mom saying she wants to go back to Florida, I think, or she just want to move, something like that. Sonya's like on the fence about everybody wanting to move and things like that. Candy brings up her and Todd's issues with the Todd feels like he does all this for her, she don't do the same, and he trying to do his movie thing and all this stuff. He don't be having time for family. All the stuff that they talked about, we already know about. Then they start talking about the party. So that's when Sonya bone curries again. She didn't bone curry twice already. And this is only the second episode. Because last episode we saw a flash of her telling Marlo about the Courtney and Candy situation. And now this episode, she going back and telling Candy something that Courtney said. Which is in her right in this moment because she's more friends with Candy than Courtney because she just met Courtney. But I'm like, at the same time, you should have been told her that. I feel like. I don't know. Whatever. So, in this moment, Sonya tells Candy, she was like, she met Courtney at Sheree's house, which we saw last episode, but then they showed this scene that they didn't show last episode. So, Courtney says that, Candy, she shouted out some place or something like that, and then, right after a whole bunch of ghetto people came or whatever. Basically insinuating that Candy brings out the ghetto people. Assuming ain't no assuming. That's exactly what the girl said. So, Where am I? So Candy was like, what did you say when the girl called me ghetto? So Sonya was like, oh, I don't think she was like calling you ghetto. So Sonya was like, Sonya gets to saying, oh, well, I said, that's my friend. I don't think Candy would do that. And then they showed a clip of Sonya ass just laughing when the girl Courtney said that. Courtney was like, she bring the ghetto people. Sonya kikiing with Sheree, like, not the ghetto. I was like, bruh, you know that she gonna see this, right? I was just like, come on, Sonya. Come on, Sonya. You gotta do better, man. I thought she was gonna do better this season, man. But you looking messy. You looking messy. But she says in this moment, she was like, I told her, Candy's my friend. She wouldn't do something like that. Where am I? No, Sonya says that she said Candy is her friend and that Courtney should just have a conversation with Candy. That's what Sonya said she said. And then they showed a clip of Sonya laughing her ass off, saying, not that ghetto. So Candy was like, and you didn't defend me? So you didn't defend me? So Sonya pauses. And I was like, girl, tell the truth. Because you know she gonna see this. Tell the truth. I was just like, did the producers tell her not to tell the truth? Because I was just like, come on, Sonya. So she says, yeah. She's like, I defended you, Candy. She was like, I said Candy wouldn't say that. I was just like, oh my God, girl. And then Candy in her confession was like, I don't believe Sonya said nothing. She's like, cause you already hanging with Sheree and Marlo, and you probably just be kikiing too when they be sitting there saying stuff about me. She was like, I need a friend that's gonna defend me. I just thought that was so funny. I was like, bruh. Stop. That was too funny to me, man. I was like, come on, Sonya, you gotta do better, man. So they show these brief little scenes. Not really going into depth about any of them, except for one. So they had this little scene with Sonya. She on FaceTime with Ross. And they talking about having baby number 2. Because I remember last season she wasn't really like feeling it, having baby number 2. But he was. Like he was strongly feeling the weight. I mean, she wasn't ready for baby number 2 last season. But she goes on to say this season that she is. So just wanted to bring that up, see how that's gonna play out. They already got a full house, but they only got one little baby. They got Deuce. I don't know why I thought they had more than that, but I guess I'd be saying the sister's kids. Because ever since Sonya been introduced to the show, her sister been living with her and the kids. So I probably was saying the sister's kids. Yeah, Ace probably need a little buddy. I mean, besides his cousins, but. So then we get to see Candy and Todd. They at their little restaurant, Blaze. Named after the baby. They is creative. I ain't even gonna hold you. They creative as hell. The way they came out with the old lady gang restaurant and now this. But they got other stuff too. Then like Candy with the candy coated and all that stuff. They real creative when it comes to like the business and the names, all that stuff. And the avenues and the lanes that they go in. Dang, I hate after I smoke, I always gotta clear my throat every 3 seconds. So they basically there, I guess they trying to like revamp the restaurant. Candy says in her confessional that Blaze is actually in the urban part of Atlanta, and it was like popping until the pandemic hit, and then it slowed down. So they trying to like rebuild. God damn it. Dang, I'm staying family feel this time. Oh well. Got it back up. Did I lose my spots in my notes? Yes, I'm still squinting because they still have not called me about my glasses yet. Okay, so then they talk about some Mexican restaurants. I guess they're trying to open up a Mexican restaurant. And yeah, they showed a clip later in this scene of them. I guess was it last year, or year before, something like that. And I guess it's gonna be called Ole G, like a Spanish spin on old lady gang, OLG. So she was like, Candy was like, you keep opening up all these restaurants. So I was like, well, restaurants is where I make the most of my money. He's like, I never made the most money. I never made more money anywhere else than off restaurants. So Candy was like, so it's just a money thing. So I was like, yeah. Candy was like, well, realistically, you want to do your TV shows and your movies and all that other stuff. Let me slide this down closer. That's why they keep falling. Cool. And plus, I got this big ass phone case now. It's kind of heavy. It's heavy as shit now. That's probably why the stand keep falling, because the phone heavier. But yeah, he says she was like, your passions are really like with movie, TV shows or whatever. And Todd was like, well, if I keep building these restaurants, I can finance my own movies through the restaurants, from the restaurants or whatever. Nigga thinking though. He was like, Ole G. And he was like, then it's gonna be Ace's Pizza. I was like, see, these niggas just be coming out with this, like, they just be coming out with the junk, with the shit. You know, Ace is their son, so Ace's Pizza. I was like, damn, they just be coming up with this shit quick. So then Candy's cousin / like the chef for Blaze comes in. And mind you, my first thought when he comes in, I don't think nothing of it. He got a cast on. So I don't think nothing of it because, like I said, I don't really be paying attention to social media or whatever. Unless it's on the Shade Room. And it might have been on the Shade Room, but it happened so long ago that I forgot about it by the time the show aired. And plus, I don't even think they ever showed his picture. So his cousin comes in, and apparently he's the cousin that got shot. I remember the story, but I didn't think of it until they brought it up in this scene. I remember seeing this story on the Shade Room about Candy's people was getting shot in her restaurant by somebody or something. And I thought I remembered saying that it was a customer or somebody, a disgruntled customer or something like that. So the producer comes out. He was like, we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room. So I'm like, what's going on? So then they start talking about Candy's cousin. The tabloids start popping up, and I started reading. I was like, oh, okay, I do remember this story. And I was like, did they ever even show, like, the person that got shot's face? I don't think they did, so I don't know, but so it's this cousin. And they, like, Candy and Toddy, like, we can't talk about it for legal purposes. We don't know, like, what we can talk about, what we can't, all that. Totally understandable, of course. So, and then they show clips of all the ladies showing their expressions about how it feels. And Kenny was like, like, just getting shot in Atlanta. They show Mongetta's, like, not safe. Then they show Sheree ass. Sheree ass in her confession. We're going to talk about some damn, you go to old lady gang, you don't know if you getting bullets or biscuits. I said, bruh, stop it, Sheree. I ain't going to hold you, that was funny. They shouldn't have put it in that moment, but that shit was funny. I'm sorry. It was funny. I don't care. It was funny. I don't care. So Candy goes more into depth, depth, D-E-P-T-H, shit. She goes more into depth in her confessional about what happened. She says that a former employee came in to work late and intoxicated and started getting into it with her cousin, who was the chef manager at the time. I mean, was the kitchen manager. I said chef manager. I mean, same thing. Chef, manager, same thing. So she says he was the kitchen manager at the time. They got into it. They both went outside. Dude shot her cousin. That's what happened. She asked her cousin, how is he feeling? He was like, I'm good. And Candy, she felt the way in her confession. She was just saying, like, it's unfortunate that stuff like this has to happen. Like, the violence has risen. Gun violence, all that other stuff. She's just thankful that people still even want to support her businesses. She's still being able to open businesses and make money and stuff. So she's just happy about that. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't even know, like, until they brought it up. Talking about something, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. I'm pretty sure, I don't know who would have knew that was the cousin just because he had the sling on his arm. I don't know, but I didn't even realize that was the cousin until they brought it up. So it seems like a lot of people got friends of the show this season. Candy got Moneta. Sheree got Courtney. Even though we don't want more of Courtney, but it looks like we're going to unfortunately have more of Courtney. But get Courtney. And now we get this friend of Kenya's, whose name is Akila. And she seemed like cool. She seemed cool from this first introduction of her. She says her and They both got 4-year-old daughters. And Kenya says their daughters are best friends. And Akilah has become a dear friend to her as well. So they sit down talking while the little babies are playing like tennis. They just had a little tennis match. Super cute. The little babies got their little tennis dresses on. It was super cute. Oh, excuse me. So Kenya was like, well, at least our babies are happy. Kenya starts telling Akilah she like envies her and her husband's relationship, and talks about still going through her divorce with Mark, what's his name? Mark Daly. So Akilah was like, well, you seem happy. Kenya start lighting up again as she talks about the guy, Roy. She gives a little more detail about who he is and what he does. They show his nickname being Mr. KMC because he's the owner or CEO, whatever, of Kill Me Crazy. And I've heard of that before. I've heard of Kill Me Crazy. So that's lit. He out here making that good vegan money. So she's like, you know, I'm crazy about him, says in her confessional. We know Kenya. We can tell from how you talked about him in the first episode. So then Akilah was like, well, you know, if Roy don't work out, I got some dudes you could meet. Because Akilah's husband plays for the NFL. So Kenya was like, you can take me to some games? He was like, yeah, most definitely. I was like, oh, Lord. This is how women meet men these days. They just take them to an NFL game. I guess. In those type of circles. Those circles. Whatever. God damn it. Who did she meet up with in this scene? Stop what you doing. So I never even said who she met up with in this scene. God damn it. Was it Sonya? I don't see her name nowhere. Yeah, this is yeah, this is the back and forth scene that they have. So the scene goes back and forth between Sheree talking to Sonya and Kenya talking to Akilah. Both giving their thoughts on how things went at Ross's party. I know it's a different word. I could have said thoughts. I can't think of it right now. Giving their opinions on how it went, how Ross's party went. I can't remember, but whatever. So, first Sheree, she talks about being a grandma, and her little grandbaby's super cute. Cairo had a baby. I didn't even know that. I remember when Cairo was a baby. Well, I'm saying it like, am I older than him? I don't know, but I remember watching Real Housewives of Atlanta in the beginning seasons, and I remember when he was a little baby. So I was like, that's crazy that now he got a whole baby of his own, and Sheree grandmother. But the baby's super cute. Yeah, this is definitely her talking to Sonya. So Sheree brings up the situation at the party with Kenya and Martell, and talks about how Kenya called Martell aggressive, and Sonya was like, see, that's the same shit she did to Ross. And they show a clip of Kenya calling Ross aggressive last season for saying, don't fuck with my wife. And then he said it as calm, and, you know, that man is sexy. He just said it, don't fuck with my wife. He didn't even say it. He didn't even get loud. So the fact that she called him aggressive, I was like, bruh. And I think she called somebody else aggressive a couple of seasons back, or was that somebody else? It might have been another season. I probably might be thinking about Potomac. I don't remember, but it's just like she be reaching like a Karen. And I'm like, don't be a Karen, Kenya. You too chocolate and pretty and beautiful to be a Karen like with you. You be reaching, bruh. So they was like, yeah, she did. Sonya was like, she did the same thing with Ross. She got to stop doing that, calling these black men aggressive, this, that, and the third. And then they go back to Kenya telling Akilah about her issues with Montel at the party. She was like, I just was bringing something up, and he gonna yell at me, and you know, Kenya over exaggerating with her side of the story. In my opinion, shit. That's how I felt. She was over-exaggerating. Then they go back to Sheree and Sonya. And Sheree like, man, just bring evidence. Don't be coming with these half-ass stories. Bring evidence. I need some receipts if you're going to be out accusing people. So then Sheree says in her confessional, she doesn't know where her and Kenya's friendship is after the whole situation with Martell, because it's like she felt like Kenya was out of line. Kenya says in her confessional that her and Sheree definitely need to have a sit down and talk. Kenya's confessional scene in that moment looked weird. Like, she looked stuffed. I hate to say that. And then she had this, like, blonde wig situation. I didn't like her confessional scene in that moment. It looked weird. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It looked weird. So then they go back to Kenya and Akila. Kenya telling Akila she feels more mad with Sheree than Martell because of the fact that Sheree didn't stick up for her. And I felt like this was all, I felt like it was deja vu. I feel like Kenya did this before with somebody. She was mad somebody didn't stick up for her when the whole time she was wrong. I cannot remember. But it felt like deja vu when she said that. I was like, bro, I feel like Kenya done did this before. I just can't remember. If somebody can remember, please comment. Because I can't remember. But then she starts to mention, like, I can't believe she didn't stick up for me. Like, we both been in abusive late relationships. And then they show that dude that Kenya was messing with a couple of seasons back that busted windows out of her garage. I remember that crazy-ass dude. I was like, he wasn't even cute to me. I was like, she's dealing with this weird-ass... He was weird. Anyway, he had already given off weird vibes. I remember thinking that about dude. But they show that little scene where he smashed the windows out of her garage. And she yelling at him in the car. And she was like, Kenya goes off to talk about how Sheree was dealing. Like, she was just dealing with a jailbird last season. Talking about Tyrone and all that. And they showed the scene that Sheree was waiting for Tyrone. And then, what was it, in Philly? When she was waiting for him, she was like, I look dumb. She on her phone. I forgot she had called Kenya in that moment. I was like, see, that's the person you don't want to call. Because now she's throwing it back in your face on camera. I was like, see, that's what you don't do. I would just sat there and look stupid. I wouldn't even call nobody. Well, knowing the producers or something, somebody probably made her call somebody from the cast. But I was like, call Candy or something. But I don't know. But Candy be doing the same thing Candy doing, so I don't know. I wouldn't call nobody. Call somebody in your family or something that you know ain't going to throw it back in your face. Kenya calls Sheree dickmatized. Akila was like, not at that big age. I was like, okay, I like Akila. Because she only going off what Kenya telling her, so. And I thought that was funny, so. So then we get this scene with Drew and Ralph. They go to a studio. Drew, they talking with some studio engineer. Drew's telling them how she's trying to get back into music. She plays a snippet of her song. And like I said, I like the song. I ain't gonna hold you. I did like the song from what I heard. I haven't went and listened to the whole song, but the snippet that they played on the episode, I definitely liked the song. So, she talks about wanting to do an EP. And the studio guy asks, he was like, why now? And then Drew, this was why sometimes I be feeling like Drew full of shit. Like, so the studio engineer dude asked her, he was like, why now? Why you want to do an EP now? So she says, well, you know, I sang for one of my friend's birthday last year. And then they show this clip of her singing to Sheree. Her singing to Sheree last year at Sheree's birthday party. And mind you, her and Sheree wasn't even that cool at the moment. They had just got back cool before the birthday party, before Sheree's birthday party. But she's singing to Sheree in that moment. Mind you, she sounded good. But I was just like, really, Drew? That's the moment you realized you wanted to go back to music? In that moment? So I was just like, okay, Drew. But she was like, yeah, I felt like in that moment, every note was on point. She did sound good. I didn't say she didn't sound good. She said she sounded good. But I just felt like that wasn't the moment that you felt like you wanted to get back in music. But you just said that. I feel like she just said that to be random. I don't know. So she was like, after that moment, everybody told me I should do music, and why you not singing? Da da da. I was like, I mean, I can kind of believe it. She probably got a fan base, probably like, why you should be out here singing or whatever, because you know the cast probably wasn't telling her that. I don't know. I can't remember, but I do remember in that moment, at that time though, Sheree and Drew wasn't even that cool. But that says a lot about Drew to even show up, sing happy birthday, I guess, whatever. So, he asked, like, what you want the EP to be about. She talks about, like, I want it to be about everything I've been through. It's the perfect timing right now while I'm going through it so it can be fresh and all that. She was like, I'm just looking for, like, a comfort studio where I could come in, where I feel like I want to lay something down. I could just come in and do my thing, da-da-da. And she talks about dropping a video to the single, and I'm just like, please don't let Ralph be in it. God damn it, he already on the cover. But most likely he gonna be in it. I mean, I get it, she a married woman, but it's just like, you know, it's the when you're doing music, you're supposed to want the allure. So I don't know, but I was just like, okay, is that the right word? Allure, ALLURE, whatever. But so I'm just like, don't let Ralph be in this damn video. But talks about dropping the music video. The studio executive asking like, what's the song about? And she was like, it's about marriage. And I was like, that little snippet I heard is not about no marriage. It's about putting it down. Putting that thing down. But I mean, I get it. Whatever. She says marriage because she's married. And that's where they coming from, I guess. So, the studio guy asked, I'm like, dang, what is the producer giving the studio exec guy some interview questions for them to ask? Because he asking them questions. He was like, so what's making it work for y'all? And I was just like, what is he, y'all therapist now? But Drew gets to, the music has really been working for us. It's been our saving grace. Like, that's how we've been getting along, this, that, and the third. So Drew was like, is it okay if I go in there and just get on the mic right now and do some live work? The studio exec dude, he pull out the keyboard for Drew. Drew started playing it. I said Drew. Pulls out the keyboard for Ralph. Ralph started playing the keyboard. Drew get to singing. I'm like, okay, Drew. Drew sound good. She sounded good. I am not putting that past her. She sounds good. So I'm like, and I like the little song. So I'm like, okay, Drew. I ain't mad at you. So now we get to this final scene. Which is, I just was like, really? Come on now. This final scene was just like, y'all just gonna have to agree to disagree. And that's what Kenya says at the end. But they, Sheree's at the warehouse looking at merch for Street by Sheree. Maybe not, whatever. She starts to talk about, again, she was so happy about the fashion show last year. They showed a clip of the fashion show from last season. Says that it's so overwhelmed with support and all that the site crashed. She's still sticking with that story. I mean, which is not... I'm not saying this a lot because I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but... people saying that it's a lie. And she stole her stuff from Shein. So... I don't know. But, I don't know what's the truth, what's a lie, whatever. So... Like, is she lying about the website? Did she have to take it down because she stole her stuff from Shein and had to rebrand? Or was it because she wasn't making no money? I don't know. Or is it like she said, the website crashed because it was overwhelmed with orders? All this stuff is believable. Whatever side is believable. So she mentions the website crash, says she lost a lot of money. So they mentions the blogs and they show bloggers and stuff. And they show one blog that I actually watch. It's a blogger named Kempire that I watch. And they showed him. And I was like, oh, snap. I watch him. But like I said, I don't watch... because he reviews the show too. But I don't watch people that review shows that I review. I don't watch their stuff until after I'm done doing my review. Because I don't want to be... I don't be wanting to say the same thing that somebody else said. But he's one of the people that I do watch. So Sheree's like, I just got to keep this momentum going. That's what she says. So Kenya comes in. She's like, oh, this she by Sheree. Start talking about the merch look like Dallas Cowboys. So apparently she just did a commercial in LA for DirecTV with the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. So she's telling Sheree how that went. Saying the quarterback's super cute. I don't know his name. Dax something. I don't know. Whatever. So then Sheree was like, well, how are things going with the guy Monetta set you up with, talking about Roy? Kenya, she lights up, says the same little mushy shit. It makes me feel like a woman. All that other shit she be saying. So Kenya was like, well, speaking of bays, she was like, he claiming you out here getting claimed now and all that. You knew it was coming because Sheree said she ain't feeling Kenya after that whole situation. Kenya just be trying to laugh it up and stuff. Like, even in that moment, last episode when she first approached Sheree and Martell, was like, oh, is this couples? Is we a relationship? And she was like, why you looking at me like that, Sheree? That's just Kenya. Kenya be doing stuff like that. She'll shade you and smile at the same time, cheese it up. So Sheree was like, well, we're dating. Me and Martell are dating. Kenya was like, well, y'all a lot alike. And Sheree was like, well, that's because he's a Capricorn too. So and Kenya was like, well, that's weird because I usually get along with Capricorns. Me personally, I don't think that sign should mean anything. I mean, I do believe when you read your sign and that's what it is about you or whatever, but I don't think that signs have anything to do with compatibility. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I don't think signs have anything to do with compatibility. To me, I mean, I don't know. Shoot, I get along with damn near every sign, and I don't get along with damn near every sign. So it's just like I don't think that compatibility shit means anything. But you know, a lot of people feel strongly about it. So Sheree asked Kenya, she was like, what was that at Ross's party? Like, what was you doing, Kenya? Kenya was like, well, it wasn't like I was coming for Martell. I was like, girl, you came for that man. You called him a cheating ass piece of shit. Like, girl, you came for that man. And that was before he even said anything about, so what if I did try to fuck you 2 years ago? At that time, he only had said, she probably accepts everybody's messages. And it wasn't like she said she probably out here fucking every nigga. He didn't even say that. But so she was like, I didn't say anything like I was coming for Martell. Sheree was like, well, it didn't have to go there. King was like, well, at what point did I deserve to get cursed out? And I was like, see, there you go. When did he curse you out? He didn't curse you out. Only thing he said was, even if I did try to fuck you 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago. Why we bringing it up? That's the only thing he said. And he kind of said it like towards the group, even though he was directing it towards Kenya, definitely. But he was saying it like as a statement. Kenya she just wanted to take every little thing Martell said and felt like it was like he was basically like coming at her, which he kind of was, but like not to the fullest of extent that Kenya made it seem like. So she was like, well, what point did I deserve to be cursed out? Yeah, did he curse her out though with the little emoji? So Sheree was like, well, things just got escalated. And Kenya talks about the DM again. She said, she was like, I remember, did she say this in her confessional? Oh no, she says this to Sheree. She was like, well, I just remember ignoring that DM because I remember seeing how he was portraying himself on TV and the whole thing with his ex-wife and all that. Mind you, I haven't seen that show that Martell's on. I don't watch that show. So I think it's called Marriage in the Huntsville. Merge. I don't know. So Kenya says all that, and Sheree tells Kenya, she was like, well, Martell, he was just so excited to meet everybody, and he just felt like he was ambushed. And Kenya was like, well, at this point, I don't know him, and I don't want to get to know him. And Sheree, she says the same thing she said at the party. She was like, well, me and you talked before, Kenya, so why you just now bringing it up? Kenya was like, well, I didn't think about it until I saw y'all together. And I was like, oh, you ain't think about it until it was on TV, until you got on TV, Giselle. That was like such a Giselle Candace moment. Like, why you bringing it up now when we on TV? When you seen me prior to? Oh, I didn't think about it until I saw y'all together. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, I put, okay, Giselle. So, Sheree talks, she was like, well, he had already told me about the DM. She says in her confessional that that Martell had already told her that he had DM'd Kenya, which I think she was lying about. I don't think he told her no shit like that. I don't think he told her that. It was 2 years ago, so I really don't think he told her that. But she says in her confessional he already told her. That's why she was being funny when Kenya brought it up and was like, well, let me see, girl, let me see. I was like, yeah, you funny, but I was like, I think you lying in this moment, Sheree. I like you, but you lying right now. So, where am I? So Kenya was like, well, yeah, it was pre-you, Sheree. Sheree goes against her, like, why even bring it up? So Kenya kind of like a voice answering and was like, well, but Martell got like super defensive. Sheree was like, well, y'all both was being disrespectful. Definitely was. And Kenya, you got disrespectful first, unfortunately. You got super disrespectful first. He said something that was disrespectful, but not like 100%. His shit was like 10%. That shit was mild, not even spicy. Kenya said some Buffalo Hat shit. She was like, spicy pepper, cheating ass piece of shit. I was like, girl, you don't remember you saying that? So Kenya was like, no. He said like he was being totally disrespectful. She was like, come on, Sheree, bros before hoes. They started laughing about that. Kenya was just like, I was most offended. Oh, excuse me. Kenya was like, I was most offended by you. No, she was like, she was most offended by Martell saying that she accepts messages from other people, basically trying to insinuate that she's a hoe or whatever. Sheree said she ain't hear that. She did because he said it right to her, but in that moment I was just like, Sheree just trying to like ignore that part. Sheree was like, no, I didn't hear that part. I was like, girl, you did, but I get why she was just saying she ain't hear it. Because like Kenya ain't gonna care anyway. So Sheree was just like, hey, you just trying to make something that is not or whatever. They going back and forth about it. Like, I feel this way, you feel that way. Like, King was like, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. I was like, yeah, at this point. So, like, let's leave it alone. I don't want to hear about this Martell thing no more. This Martell and Kenya thing. Because Kenya was wrong in that moment. Not saying that Martell Martell might be a cheating piece of shit, but in that moment, it didn't warrant what Kenya did. Kenya did too much, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, I grade this episode a B+, because it was just like, everybody was just talking about the two little tiffs that happened at Ross's party. So it wasn't really nothing. Then we got Drew. So I was like, okay. Maybe because of Drew's song, I bump it back up. I bump it up to an A-, maybe. Because I did like Drew's song. And when she sung it live, she sounded good. But yeah, predictions for the episodes to come. Please, I don't want to keep hearing about this Kenya Martell argument situation. They both was wrong. Let's leave it alone. More so Kenya. I would say I don't want to see more about this this Candy and Courtney situation, but I saw a clip, the next week on, Candy and Courtney gonna get into it again about the whole ghetto situation. Sure, Sonya, you better stop running back and you better stop going back and doing all this bone carrying, girl. Get that back to Sheree or do something. Is it me or am I okay without these Marlo scenes? We ain't got really too much of Marlo, and I'm kind of fine with it. But she ain't fine with it, so she coming. What else? Yeah. I feel like we're just gonna get the tips with Courtney and Candy. Are we gonna see more of tips with Sanya and her sister? I don't know, but yeah, I don't really expect much. It's probably gonna be more about the Martell situation. I don't know, but we're gonna see. I don't really have too many predictions. I'm just gonna wait and see. Thanks for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and comment below what you thought of the episode, what you thought about what I talked about, if I missed anything. Just comment how you felt, what you would grade the episode, all that good stuff. Yeah, and if you want to, hit that share button, that notification bell if you want to. Yeah, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.